Since the day we quite literally popped out of the Earth's womb and just started going about our days here, we've been trying to figure out how to kill the guy who looks slightly different from us. Whether it's a tactic of hitting them over the head with a rock, throwing a rock at them, or getting a rock to move really, really damn fast, we are always trying to ruin someone else's day. But the golden goose has always been chemical weapons, specifically aerosolized agents. After the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914, the war quickly grinded into a stalemate, with the front line stretching over 440 miles at the peak of the war. With this nature of static warfare, ways of killing the guys who didn't speak the same language you did began to improve immensely. However, the first recorded use of any chemical weapon, surprisingly enough, wasn't by the Germans, but the French, with them employing tear gas against Germans in the summer of 1914. After these encounters, the Germans decided to dip their toes into the water by employing fragmentation cells filled with a specific kind of irritant I couldn't find any information about, against the English at Neuve Chapel in France and the Russians west of Warsaw. However, both saw limited success. However, the most drastic shift for the deployment of chemical weapons came on April 22nd of 1915, where the Germans had aligned over 5,000 tanks of chlorine gas along their line. Pumping over 167 tons across no man's land, they decimated the lines, causing over 6,000 casualties and creating a general rout of Allied troops. Anthony Hossack of the Queen Victoria's Rifles, who was there during the incident and saw the aftermath, stated, "As we gazed in the direction of the bombardment, where our line joined the French 6 miles away, we could see in the failing light the flash of shrapnel, with here and there the light of a rocket. But more curious than anything was a low cloud of yellow-gray smoke or vapor, and underlying everything, a dull and confused murmuring. One man came stumbling through our lines. An officer of ours held him up with a leveled revolver and asked him, 'What's the matter, you bloody lot of cowards?' Jova was frothing at the mouth. His eyes started from their sockets, and he fell writhing at the officer's feet, and with that, the call of 'Fallen.' We expected that cry, and as soon as we moved across the fields in the direction of the line for about a mile, the battalion is formed into a line, and we dug in. The Entente knew that the face of war had changed. If they were to not only maintain effectiveness, but also protect their men, they knew they had to act fast. The soldiers, desperate for some form of protection, would soak rags in urine in the event of a gas attack, with some units even keeping buckets of urine along stretches of the line for quick and easy access. The first form of issued protection, being what was called a black veil respirator, was unveiled by John Haldane in May of 1915. A pad of cotton wrapped in a fabric soaked with solution of sodium hyposulfate carbonate and glycerin. It was better than a piss-soaked sock, however, it was far from having the desired protection and desired effects, with it being a simple stopgap solution. The British unveiled the smoke hood in June of 1915, being a canvas hood with 2 eye holes cut out of it. It was placed over a soldier's head and had a tube on the inside that would be used for breathing. However, this too was deemed inadequate. Ultimately, it was superseded by the LBR, a large box respirator, and for the sake of time, we will be skipping over this, as the LBR was replaced by the SBR, or small box respirator, of which I have an example here that I will be showing. The Germans were also in the same boat, with some form of protection being needed to be issued by the men, the first being issued in 1916, and it would later be replaced by the later mask 1917, of which I also have an example that I will be demonstrating. Alrighty, I apologize about that whirring noise that's going on in the background right now. It's going to be my computer screaming for help. It currently has a game of Half Sword on it, and it doesn't seem to really like that, so, whatever. This is a quick reshoot, obviously, because I couldn't export the video. It got corrupted, so I'm kind of pissed off right now. But, anyways. Alrighty, as previously discussed, here we have 2 different examples of gas masks used during the war. We have an American small box respirator and a German 1917 Ledermask. So the American small box respirator came into my collection about January of last year, and it was where is it? 2020. Okay. Apologies, I missed. No wait, 24, 2023. No, there. Alright, so the American SBR came into my possession around January of 2023, and ever since then it has been a staple of my collection, first ever history-related item I've ever purchased. Now, for the American SBR, it came in essentially one piece, so this could be disconnected from the base right there. However, this is not something that I'm going to do, as this is an advanced age. Now, these masks were issued out to American Expeditionary Forces, and this one specifically is marked as mask number 3. It is issued to an individual going by the name of EHR, just his initials, to the 308th FN. Unfortunately, I do not know what that is. This was a part of the 77th Infantry Division before it became the 77th Sustainment Brigade. Now, the staple of this mask is going to be the 2 large, in this case, plastic eyepieces. And on the inside is going to be a mouthpiece. You wrap your mouth around that, and through that mouthpiece, you connect into this hose down into your, obviously, small box respirator. Now, that is in very poor condition. These masks typically do not like to age well, and because of that, I'm very gentle with it when I have to demonstrate it and show it to you guys. Now, this one did come issued with a user's manual, a patch, and a register for any sort of gas exposure. This one does have the register in it. It was in 2 gas attacks and was used during the recovery of the Lost Battalion. It was also issued with anti-dimming composition for gas masks. Right there to protect it from gray. But then, if we come on over to this side, we're going to have the German equivalent. I'm going to screw the filter on real quick so that you guys can see the full picture. Alright. This is going to be a 1917 Leopoldmask. I don't know how to pronounce it in German as I speak English. Now, these were issued to German and Austro-Hungarian troops, and it consisted of essentially a 2-piece setup with hard plastic lenses, though some did also have glass, so it just depended on what the factory had at hand. And this one is in much better shape, simply just due to the fabric that was used, and this would also being a part of a previous collection. It had a 2-piece setup where you had the canister, which was connected to the front of the mask, and was essentially just screwed in, and you breathe through a small hole at the bottom. This one has a name written on it. I'm unsure if that's an original name or not. It is on both the canister and the mask. Koppelmeyer, don't really know how to pronounce that in German. Any research I put into that name hasn't come up with anything yet, but I continue searching on because I'm hopeless. It was issued with a metal carrying canister, very similar to the ones that were issued in the Second World War. This one is definitely an advanced age, and unfortunately, this little compartment up here would hold a register, any sort of ID tags, and the anti-dimming solution for this mask as well. I'm unsure if the German mask saw any sort of gas exposure. That's not really something I am able to verify, as I don't have the record for it. However, the American mask did, and that's something I take a lot of pride in having in my collection. The reason there's a mannequin head is because the German mask is normally a display piece that I display with my M16 Stahlhelm. The American gas mask, unfortunately, I cannot display due to its advanced condition, so I mainly just keep it in storage in an attempt to preserve it for future use. And by future use, I mean educationally. I'm not putting that thing on anytime soon. All this black item that you see on the white cloth is going to actually be the plastic from inside of it. It's incredibly brittle and does not like to be moved around, which is why I try not to move it around too often. Apologies for that. My phone had the camera had actually run out of storage. However, the Leopoldmask is kept on display. It's normally just displayed above my desk, alongside an American dress uniform cap and a British canteen. I don't know if I will ever make videos on those, but if you do wish to see something like that, just let me know and I will proceed. However, I do want to thank you guys for watching this. These masks are an incredible piece of not only military history, but history in general. These have led to drastic shifts in strategy, tactics, and issued equipment, and truly are just the masks you see nowadays issued to troops these are going to be their grandfathers. So it was great to be able to bring these out to you guys and to show you what exactly they are. Thank you for watching the video. I apologize for all my run-on sentences and for my voice. I'm currently sick. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, just continue to educate yourselves, and I'll see you then.